Okay, it is patch day, so let's go over the patch 6.05 notes. First new playable content is the Excitatron 6000 has been added. The Excitatron 6000, a special instance similar to the dungeons of Gaia, can be accessed after finding and opening treasure coffers obtained from Kumbira treasure maps. Here, players will have the chance to test their luck and obtain priceless treasures. Looks pretty cool. About what we'd expect for treasure maps. I'm excited to check some of these out. So there's a new map that you can gather in a couple of places, including the final zone, the Kumbira treasure map. It is a map recommended for a party of 8 players, and then when you finish killing the mobs from that map, there's a chance to spawn the portal that will take you to this dungeon. From there, you have a random chance of going deeper into the dungeon based on which door you select or some other RNG factor. And you can get some pretty cool loot that's usually pretty valuable, especially when the dungeon is still new. So you can expect a lot of people will be doing treasure maps in the days to come. Housing. Furnishings from the Final Fantasy XIV Furnishing Design Contest have been added. Pretty cute, pretty cute. The flower stand is pretty cool. And then more furnishings on top of that. Sort of a loft bed, decorations for the wall, a Big Ben type clock, a tree with no leaves, a little pinwheel. New orchestrion rolls have been added. New prizes are available at the Gold Saucer for exchange using MGP. It's about time, it's been so long since there have been things to spend MGP on. And now the juicy stuff, battle system changes. Actions and traits have been adjusted as follows. For Monk, it's mostly quality of life stuff. While under the effect of perfect balance, now grants a Raptor Chakra even when missing a target. For Armor the Destroyer, it's a nice change because if you hit perfect balance and then miss one of your GCDs, then you just don't get the finisher from the 3 chakras for that, so now that's not a problem anymore. So nice little quality of life changes for Monk. No potency changes, which means that they're happy with where Monk is at. Monk seems pretty strong right now. I've leveled it to 90 and played it a bit. I think it's pretty fun, it's in much better shape than it was. So I'm excited to see Monk continue to improve. And I think it's going to be a very competitive melee this tier. Dragoon got 3 potency increases. They are Wormwind Thrust from 370 to 420, Kyr's Gogol from 250 to 260, and also another 10 potency on Nastrond. I haven't played Dragoon at all so far this expansion, so I don't really have any comments on it, but it did seem like in the logs it was a little weak, so hopefully this brings it more in line with the other melees. Okay, Ninja got a whole bunch of changes, and Ninja is another job that I haven't touched. But the Ninja mains that I know have been very unsatisfied both with how the rotation plays right now, as well as how bad the damage is for Ninja. And it looks like they got some pretty substantial buffs here. They changed the name of a buff from Raiton, as well as increased the status effect duration. They made some changes to Bunshin that would be above my head. The Phantom Kama Itachi Ready status effect no longer expires when Bunshin ends. And Bunshin now changes to Phantom Kama Itachi upon execution. The Ready status effect has a duration of 45 seconds. Executing the Phantom ability no longer consumes a stack of Bunshin. The increase to Ninki gauge has been changed from 5 to 10. Prior to patch 6.05, both the execution of Phantom Kama Itachi and the effect of Bunshin increased the Ninki gauge by 5, resulting in a total increase of 10. The above adjustment ensures this increase to the Ninki gauge remains unchanged when executing Kama Itachi. Forked Raiju. Potency has been increased from 400 to 560, that's an enormous buff. The additional effect grants Fleeting Raiju Ready has been removed, and the requirement for execution has been changed from while under the effect of Forked Raiju Ready to while under the effect of Raiju Ready. And finally, Fleeting Raiju. Players will no longer rush target upon execution, which is one of the big complaints I heard. They have to cast this ability like 6 times or something in their opener, and each time it does a gap closer to the boss, which really leaves you super inflexible and just doesn't sound very fun being stuck to the boss for that long. The range has been reduced from 20 yalms to 3 yalms. I guess that compensates for the fact that there's no longer the rush. The potency has been increased from 450 to 560, so another huge buff. And interestingly, it's now the same as Forked Raiju rather than being 50 potency higher. The requirement for execution has been changed from while under the effect of Fleeting Raiju Ready to while under the effect of Raiju Ready, and can now be set to the hotbar, which I guess means that ninjas have another button to push. Samurai, like Monk, just got some quality of life changes for them. It's simply their casted abilities now have 3 more yalms of range. so they can be a little bit farther away while applying their dot and while casting their Medares. Reaper, of course, got the nerf. Thankfully only their Arcane Crest, but I am going to miss those juicy heals from that. So Reaper has an ability that gives them, I think, a 10% HP shield. It lasts for 5 seconds, and if that shield breaks while it's up, then it gives the entire party within range a AoE regen heal. That regen heal used to be 100 potency per tick, now it's 50 potency, which is a huge nerf. Feels bad. It'll be okay. Dancer didn't really get any changes. Their dances have just been changed to weapon skills rather than abilities. Summoner also got some nice potency buffs to their Phoenix phase of their rotation. I've played Summoner to 90, I think it's really fun to play right now. It did feel like it was just a little bit weak, so maybe this will bring it to where it needs to be. But new Summoner is really fun. If you haven't tried it, I recommend checking it out. It's super easy to understand, and there's some flexibility in its rotation. So hopefully these potency tweaks bring it in line with some of the other casters without taking it too far over the edge. You don't spend a lot of time casting these abilities overall in your rotation, so it's not a crazy buff, but just like a nice little nudge up to the next tier. And Scholars, Fey Union, the range of that ability has been doubled from 15 to 30, and the range in which players must stay during Fey Union has also been doubled from 15 to 30 ohms. The new raid dungeon, Pandemonium Asphodelos Savage, has been added. We all knew this was coming. Super excited, I can't wait to try. I should be streaming my prog at 10 PM Eastern Time tonight, twitch.tv/Rainesama. To access Pandemonium Asphodelos Savage, players must speak with an MGG in Labyrinthos with a level 90 Disciple of War or Magic after completing the quest, Who Wards the Warders, which of course is the quest for finishing the 4 normal Asphodelos raids. So once you've completed those 4 raids, you just go talk to this NPC in Labyrinthos and you'll be able to queue for the new Savage raids. Of course, just like our previous raid tiers, these raids will drop coffers, and when you use that coffer, it gives you the corresponding piece of gear for the role that you're on. So if you open the coffer on Machinist, then you will get a piece of raid gear that is aiming, or if it's a weapon, then it would be the Machinist weapon. Of course, just like before, if you bring a player that has already cleared the circle for the week, then the amount of loot that drops for you will be penalized accordingly, and you cannot claim loot from multiple runs of the same turn each week. You will also get an Asphodelos Mythos. This is just a token. You can trade this token into an NPC. There's one in Labyrinthos and one at Rad's at Han. You can trade in these tokens for piece of raid gear as well once you accumulate enough. These are the numbers of the different tokens that you need for each different piece of gear right here. So we can see, for example, that if you want to trade in tokens for your weapon, that you will need 8 of the tokens from the 4th Savage Circle. And of course the Savage fights have been added to the Raid Finder. New elite marks have been added. These will be the S ranks for Thavnair and Labyrinthos, which were previously not added to those zones while the majority of the player base was doing MSQ. They didn't have these S ranks available to be spawned, so as to ease congestion as people are playing through the MSQ. Elegant Tomestones of Astronomy have been added. These will be our weekly capped tomestones. You can earn up to 450 of these a week. Make sure you cap. And these can be traded in for high item level gear. And the high item level gear that you can buy with these Elegant Tomestones of Astronomy can further be upgraded with tokens from the Savage Circles. Additionally, this was mentioned in the previous patch notes, but buying the new Tomestone weapons will be 500 Tomestones instead of 1,000. You will still need either the 7 blades from the normal raids, or the Tomestone that drops in the second turn, the second circle. But you only need 500 Tomestones, which means that a group can get a lot more weapons a lot faster now to help with those DPS checks. The Tomestones of all of these duties have been adjusted now that we have got the Elegant Tomestones of Astronomy. They've added these trials to Stone Sky Sea, which is the DPS meter area where you can check if your damage is enough for a certain piece of content. New items have been added. This would be the new Tomestone gear. So some very scaly sets. I'm looking at the maiming one. I like the cape on it. It looks kind of cool. I don't know if it really it looks more Dragoon than Reaper to me. I don't like the boots. They have the toe claws, but it seems like the striking one does too. They're not the worst sets. So again, that'll be our new capped Tomestone sets. So if you find any of these appealing, then maybe that'll be the glamour for you. New recipes have been added. I'm not sure what exactly this glamour is. I don't think that it's the new Disciple of War and Magic crafted gear that's coming with the master recipes. So maybe just the new glamour set from mats from the treasure dungeon or something. New master recipes have been added. This will of course be our new crafted gear. New potions, new food, things like this. New mounts have been added. New minions have been added. We've got a little golden Luna Saber tender. Maybe this is from the treasure dungeon as well. New achievements and titles have been added. The option Duty Complete Weekly Reward Unclaimed has been added to the Party Finder. So this is so that when you're recruiting for your savage fights, you can make sure that the people joining your party have not already cleared for the week. New music has been added. I'm not sure if they mean orchestrions, or maybe they mean the music for, you know, the unconfirmed second phase of the fourth circle, where Hesperos is going to whip out a Giga Vampire and, you know, ruin all of our lives with it. I'm so excited to see it. I can't wait. Of course, it might not be a Giga Vampire, it might be something else, but my guess is that he's got a Giga Vampire phase where shit gets crazy. Resolved issues. The following issues have been addressed. An issue when playing as Warrior, wherein players could be incapacitated by damage over time while under the effects of Holmgang. An issue when playing as Dark Knight, wherein players could be incapacitated by damage over time while under the effect of Walking Dead. An issue wherein the description of Dancer trait Enhanced Devilment was incorrect. This issue did not affect the functionality of this trait. The correct effect duration was 20 seconds. An issue wherein the effect of the PvP action Sharpcast was removed erroneously under certain conditions. An issue when playing as Warrior wherein the healing effect of Nascent Flash could not be triggered on party members in PvP. An issue when playing as Botanist or Miner wherein triggering the Gatherer's Boon effect did not award players with company credits. An issue wherein the number of tomestones needed to purchase items from Moen's Merchant in the Crystarium was incorrect. An issue wherein the Heaven's Turn event items Golden Tora Kabuto and Silver Tora Kabuto were named incorrectly. Other minor text issues have also been addressed. Other various issues have also been addressed. And finally, known issues. An issue in the Excitatron 6000, wherein certain enemy actions do not appear in the battle log. An issue wherein the description for the action Phantom Kamaitachi is incorrect. This issue does not affect the functionality of this action. Execution of this action increases the Ninki gauge by 10. An issue wherein the icon of certain high-quality items introduced in patch 6.05 are incorrect. An issue wherein certain items introduced in patch 6.05 that are be purchased in exchange for MGP can be sold to NPC vendors. That are be purchased. Alright, well that's going to do it for our patch 6.05 notes. If you're heading into Savage today or in the coming days, I wish you the best of luck in your prog, and I hope that you get all the high rolls on the loot coffers, and that you get everything and the rest of your group has to be jealous of you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you soon in those Savage guides. Take care.